and boys and girls from around the world, welcome to the High Performers Podcast. My name is Alex Alexander. I'm your host for the day. And today we're back to reading. And so we're reading a book. If this is your first time joining me, I've been reading this book for, only a couple of days and reading it with you. It's called The Daily Laws. And so this is a book by Robert Greene. And that's an author that I really like. I suggest you go get to know his work because it's all very good. And so this is called The Daily Laws. It's a book for condensing a lot of his work and make it into like a, where you can read a little passage every single day, something from each one of his books. So today, this one is called, it's only for January 2nd. So that'll tell you how many days I've actually followed through and read the passages for you guys. So here we go. And January so he 2nd. Says, when Marie Curie, the future discoverer of radium, was 4 years old, she wandered into her father's study and stood transfixed before a glass case that contained all kinds of laboratory instruments for chemistry and physics experiments. She would return to that room again and again to stare at the instruments, imagining all sorts of experiments she could conduct with those tubes and measuring devices. Years later, when she entered a real laboratory for the first time and did some experiments herself, she reconnected immediately with her childhood obsession. She knew she had found her vocation. Daily Law. You were obsessed with it as a child for a reason. Reconnect with it. I love that. I've been paying attention to that one, and I'll show you, like, here in my own personal life, I have, an office and a desk and all that kind of thing. And whenever I was a little kid, I used to play with my grandfather's stuff at his desk all the time. He had just really neat stuff on his desk. I remember he had this huge desk, and it had a little calendar thing. It was a little brass little stand, and you flipped it over, and whenever you would flip it, the date would go down. It had like a little thing in there that made the date, that gravity made the date change. And so you flipped it every day and it would tell you which day it was. And he had tons of little stuff like that on his desk. So here I am now. I find stuff for my desk. Like I found this little pen, and this is actually a ballpoint pen. It's the kind you do like this. So now I have nice. Yeah, so stuff like this I keep on my desk now that's influenced from, my grandfather. Like he had letter openers. I don't know, whenever I was a little kid, I thought it was really cool. He had this big brass letter opener. It was like a knife, and he had this crazy knife on his desk. And so now on my desk, I keep things like this little cool pocket knife. And it's the kind that has the safety. It's like manual. Let's see if I can even do it. See, it twists so that the opening, you can only open it whenever it's safe like that, and then you open it. It's the old school kind, it's manual. But this is my letter opener. So I have my little letter opener, and, these are not important things really, but are they really unimportant? I mean, these are the things I used to do when I was a little kid, looking at my grandfather's desk and really just imagining my future. So now that's what I'm doing now. So let's pay attention to those, those little things in our lives that really stick out. One of the other things that I always did when I was a little kid is I used to have a tape recorder. And nowadays you just pop on the internet, make a recording, make YouTube videos, all that kind of thing. This didn't exist. We had a machine. It was this big. It was bigger than a book and probably twice as thick. And it had a big, huge tape recorder. It was a tape that went inside there. And so you had to push down the play and the record button at the same time and make them go down. And that was how you would record. So anyway, I recorded constantly. I used to record myself and make like radio shows and TV shows and just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and then listen back to it and then talk again. And so voila, who would have guessed? Who would have guessed I'm here making YouTube videos and reading books online to make videos of myself to put out on the internet. So it's something I loved when I was a kid. It's something I'm back doing it, and I really enjoyed it. Well, that'll kind of wrap it up for our little review of January 2nd here in the Daily Laws by Robert Greene. I'll go ahead and make one for the next day. And if you don't know me, my name is Alex Alexander. I make these videos just because at one time I was living in a van and I didn't have the ability to make videos like this. I didn't have the internet, and we didn't have any sort of a computer or a camera or microphones and all this kind of thing. And I was able to put my life together and change the way that it was going, change the trajectory of my life. And now it's going a lot better. And so we make videos just to help anybody else who might be able to get the benefit out of them like we did. And we sell land here in Ocean View, Hawaii. And if you want to find out about that, you can go to hawaiiescapeco.com. We put the link here. This is your host, Alex Alexander, with the High Performance Podcast saying aloha.